Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Every time I get up here, I'm a little bit nervous. I know I'm up here every single Sunday, but yeah, it's really nice to see you all. Nice to see you all this week. We're getting towards the end of September. I remember when the year started. I made a resolution to go to the gym more often, and I'm slacking in that. But yesterday I jump roped for the first time in a long time, so I feel great. One thing I'd like to share with you: any of you ever seen this sign before? So it was only about 3 weeks ago that I learned what it actually. Well, I know what it means, but for years, as I went through the school crossings and whatnot, I always thought, well, interesting. No, this is a crossing, but we're using Chinese words. I always had that come in my mind. What is pet sing, pet sing? It was just like 2 weeks ago I realized, wait a minute, this is pedestrian crossing. And so now I know that we didn't have Chinese influences particularly in naming it. But it's a little bit weird, wouldn't you think? An X being called a crossing. I thought I'd share that because maybe some of you may be thinking about this and have always wondered your life just like I have. So that at least if you learn nothing from today, you learn that that's a pedestrian crossing. Okay, so I'd like to go into my topic for today. And this topic, yeah, I call it a life that mattered. A life that mattered. I'll get to the story of why I chose this in just a second. But has anyone ever seen this before? Live, love, laugh. Anyone ever seen that? Yeah, this is very common amongst, I think, like teenage girls especially, have it on your wall. And this is something that many people like to live their life by. It's kind of, some of you may have prepared vision boards in your life. Some of you may have prepared various different things to remind you of your affirmations, of what you want to do, how you want to live your life. So this is very common. But about in 2019, I came across a book. And it was a little bit of a low point in my life, but there was the book was written by a man named Brendan Burchard. And Brendan, in his book, he shares his story of how he turned his life around. And it all started when he was 19 years old, and he had a very terrible car accident. So this car accident, the doctors have said that he would be, if he survives, he may be paralyzed his whole life. And so, by God's grace, he survived. But it was a moment of deep introspection for him. Because in that moment, he asked himself 3 questions. He asked himself, did I live? Did I love? And did I matter? And since that day, every single night before he goes to sleep, he asks himself that question. Did I live today? Did I really live? Did I love? And did I matter? And that got me thinking. Some days, so after I read the book, I started to ask myself that question every night. There are days when it's an absolute no, but it feels good when you can go to sleep saying yes, having a resounding yes to this question. And so, I'd like to briefly go through each and every one of these, but before we do, I'd like us to do an exercise. One thing that none of us escapes is our physical mortality here on this earth. One day we'll all transition into the next world. When I was younger, at various workshops that I staffed and I attended, we always did an activity. It was called the epitaph activity, where we wrote down what we want people to say about us, how we want to be remembered when we transition on to the next world. And for teenagers, people in their 20s, it brings a sense of introspection. How have I lived my life up to this point? and how am I to live my life moving forward? So I'd like everyone to take a moment to close your eyes. Close your eyes and just think that you are that you just passed away. Life is short, but you just transitioned into the next world. And you come, you see your friends and family gathered around your body, your presence. What are they saying about you? How do they describe their encounters with you? How did you make them feel? In that moment, can you say that you lived your life? Can you say that you loved? Can you say that you really mattered? Just take a moment to think about that, to reflect on that. What are the stories that are told long after you're gone about you and of the legacy that you left behind here on this earth? When you're ready, open your eyes. So how many of you were able to have a resounding yes? I really lived my life. Hey, you've got 2 people. How about love? I really loved in my life. You have 2 people, 3 people. Okay. And how about mattered? I really mattered in my life. Okay, we've got a lot more people. And I know many of you are very humble. I look in the room, I see many who have done so much in their life. And the truth is that I think everyone matters. And even if you didn't do a thing in this world, God loves you. And you're valuable. God loves you just the way you are. And without you, the world wouldn't be the same. So, when I think of these 3 questions, I think to true parents, the father and mother moon. And I think of the life that they've lived. And even though I am not them, through their stories and particularly through my own existence, I can say that they really lived their life. They really loved. And of course, they mattered. So to break it down, I'd like us to read a passage just on the point on live. This is from the speech that Father gave on how to gain spiritual health. He says, "A wise person thinks like this: I have only a short time to live. Within this time, I must prepare myself for eternity. The way I live in the next 2 years will be the model for my eternal life. Then explode your sense of love. Love God and love another person as God. For an entire day, 24 hours, pour out your entire energy for someone. If you love a person like this, even though you may die early, you will have made the highest accomplishment in all eternity. Then when God gives you more time to live, your response will be immense gratitude. Push yourself to live more fully. The person who expects death and then is given life dwells in the fullest gratitude. Let's give a hand to Father. I find this so deep. It's not about living your life like there's no tomorrow. It's 2 years. 2 years. And he describes it as, when you do live your life this way, you'll live your life in gratitude. And sometimes, when I ask myself the question, am I living? Something I like to do is just notice the things around me. Just recently, we've been having meetings at the Hyojong house. And I realize I hear the birds chirping. That's something you don't hear or we don't notice all the time. I notice myself breathing. I notice myself being able to walk just fine. A little over a year ago, I could barely stand up after I had a really bad injury. So the question is, do we live each day in true gratitude? Can we say that we're grateful, that I am grateful for today? I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for the person that you meet and how they've impacted your life. That is living. We go on to love. I'd like to emphasize, read that passage again from the middle of it. Father says, explode your sense of love. Love God and love another person as God. For an entire day, 24 hours, pour out your entire energy for someone. If you love a person like this, even though you may die early, you will have made the highest accomplishment in all eternity. Do you know what the number one thing that people regret before they pass on to the other world on their deathbed? Anyone know? The number one thing people regret while they're in their deathbed. Yeah, it's not spending enough time with loved ones and not telling people that you love them. So this perhaps is one of the most important of the three. Love. And the reason for this is, as many of you know, we were created because of love. God created us because God loved us. But also, you were brought forth because of love, because your parents loved each other. And so, this is something that comes about in our life, is our modality for existence. It's how we need to live, because it's the very same thing that will allow us to be able to claim a victorious life in the next. And Mother says, wherever I may go, I practice living for the sake of others. I always try to love people more than their own parents or siblings do. People tend to keep the best things for themselves and give things of lesser value to others. Even in the relationship with their own parents, if you pursue only personal gain, chains of addiction and greed will tie you down. If you constantly put others first and live for their sake, you are on the path to eternal freedom and blessing. When I see people in need, I give them whatever I have. A world where everyone gives their best things to others is a world of joy. This is my life philosophy. People who live only for themselves will soon hit a wall. You need to live your life with love and generosity. It's quite amazing. What I really like about what's described here is how we should love. Being able to love someone more than their parents, right? More than their siblings. It gives us a measure of what love could be like amongst people, amongst brothers and sisters, amongst friends, with our neighbors. And it describes very perfectly, I think many of us have heard the tale of the difference between heaven and hell, right? With two big spoons. So you have heaven and hell for those who haven't heard. The difference between the two is everyone gathers for dinner, and the utensil to eat is a very large spoon. And how the people in hell eat is they grab their food and feed themselves. But while they do that, their spoon hits people around them. And all of a sudden it becomes a food fight where everyone is using their spoons as weapons. But in heaven, people feed the person in front of them. So the difference is just in thinking about others, in caring for others, and in loving others. And that separates good from evil, self-centeredness, and selflessness. So that's love, something that many reflect on, many have deep regrets about when they go on to the next world. Now, matter. This one seems a bit new, but to summarize it, it's referring to the impact that we have on this world, the impact we have on the life of others. And many people, before they pass away, wonder, did it really matter that I lived? Did it matter that I was here on this earth? Many of you may have heard that we die 2 times, right? That the first time is when you physically move on to the other world. And the second time is the last time your name is mentioned. So, your name being mentioned, that alludes to impact. That alludes to how our lives have impacted other people, what we are remembered for. And I'm sure you can think of many people who have impacted your life that you've never met because they had vast impact. There's a verse in the Bible that says, "You are the salt of the earth, you are the light of the world. Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." So having impact is not just about doing good. It's not just about feeding someone. What that does in this realm, in this world, is it allows us to let the light that God has bestowed upon us shine, so that people may see through you how good God is. Many of you may remember just the purpose of creation. God said, "Be fruitful, multiply, and have dominion." And the essence of it all is that we become people that can reflect God in character, in love. And that's why God created us in His image and His likeness. And so, good deeds are a way for God to love us all. When Deborah comes in with, I think, coffee in the mornings, I'm sure the band is happy. Are you happy, band? Yeah. And Jeffrey, yeah. They're happy. They're excited. When there's no coffee, maybe a little bit down. But that's not just Deborah's love. That's not just Jeffrey's love. That is God loving through us. And that's the importance of impact. That's the importance of matter, because it allows each and every one of us to taste the love and abundant love that God has for us. So recently, we've been moving along with the Peace Starts With Me movement. Many of you were there in 2017 when this was launched. And this really makes me think deeply about what does it mean when I say peace starts with me. I think we can all agree that a simple act of kindness creates a ripple in the world. A simple act of kindness allows someone to feel better and perhaps to also do good. I had an experience once. A colleague of mine many years ago, she gets really stressed out. When she's stressed out, it's actually very hard to communicate because, if you ask her for anything, it's like, she gets just very flustered because admittedly, she's very stressed. So, and this kept happening over and over and over again. And one day, we were working on a project together, and I had to ask her something. But I decided in that moment, Resfred, why don't you just lower your voice and speak calmly? And so I lowered my voice and just spoke calmly to her. And to my surprise, she responded extremely calmly. So it was quite incredible to me. It's like, we as humans, we react, right? We react to everything that comes at us. But it took me just changing the way I approach her, changing the way I spoke to her, changing the way I asked her, for her to reciprocate in a way that I felt was kind and nice. So that's an example of peace starting with us, peace starting with me. So for this past week, and actually for past months, we've been working on many things as a community. And this Friday, I had the opportunity to be able to go out on Giving Friday with the New Hope group. So let me describe this. On Thursday, we were on campus, we were witnessing, and there I was with Megumi-san and Yu-Ping, right here. And what was incredible was, as we were there at the table, anyone ever heard of this spiritual vortex? It just felt like people were coming. People were just coming and flooding. Why were they coming? Right? On the table, you have, in the front, there's New Hope Ocean Club. And you have different activities that entails with the oceans. People come, maybe some people are interested in what this ocean thing is. And then the first thing that's presented is, we have a service project. Tomorrow, so this was on Thursday, so Friday, there was going to be a service project where we hand out hygiene products to the homeless. And immediately that perked up many people. Oh, I want to do that. And then we talked about Shine City, right? Spread the word Nevada. They were cleaning books for the sake of being given out to children who need those books. So what happened, and then we talk about our Peace Starts With Me seminar, we talk about the Tribe Talk that's happening, and it was quite amazing. So many people just kept coming. So many people. There was one guy who, he just heard us talking to someone, and he came, did you guys say service? I'm interested in that. So it's almost like there's an innate sense of wanting to make an impact in this world amongst each and every one of us. So much so, we didn't have to try so hard to reach people. People were just coming in to make an impact. And so the last week, Friday, we had a Giving Friday organized by the New Hope group. And I invited John, and then Jefferson was there as well. There are many others. I'll show you the picture in just a second. But I remember when I first came into the Harrison house, getting ready for the service project, everyone was kind of maybe a little bit uneasy. First time with some people in that room. Not sure what's going to happen. Someone's preparing to give a lecture, a presentation, right? Dr. Celebrate gave an amazing Peace Starts With Me presentation in the beginning. But then, as soon as we got out, we separated into 3 different groups. One group was handing out it's cold water to anyone who was out there. It's especially helpful when it's about 101 degrees outside. The other group was handing out hygiene products to people, to the homeless. This was shampoo, conditioner, lotion, soap, things that I want, personally. And then the third group was picking up trash. So I joined the trash picking group, and as we started to pick up trash, Jefferson here, who was a little bit cranky in the beginning, he just lit up. And then he said, man, I love doing service projects with you guys. I'm going to do this again. And then you have John in the back. Basically, we ran out of trash bags, and we went to go buy some trash bags. And we had some cleaning to do. It was very dirty. The streets were extremely dirty. This is just only a portion of it. And what happened is we go there, we start picking up trash, and no one wants to stop. Time was up. Keiko-san called me, please come back. But they wanted to keep going. 30 minutes is up. We went on for 45, maybe close to an hour, and I felt like we could have been there for over 2 hours, just cleaning the streets. And these are things this is trash that I usually wouldn't notice. But once you start noticing, it's right there. There's so much of it. There's so much cigarettes in the pile of rocks that we could probably spend a whole day picking it up and it wouldn't be enough time to do so. Then I realized no one was cleaning the streets. But what was amazing was the people I was with. They wanted to continue. They wanted to do much, much more. So we cleaned it up. And the place looked much better than it was before. So to me, this was a small taste of impact. It's something so simple. Just going out and picking up trash. But all of a sudden, the neighborhood is more sanitary than it was before. People are more grateful. Handing out water. You should see the excitement on people's face when they say, is that free water? People are happy. People are joyful because we're giving. We're making a difference. And the homeless receiving products that can make them, even if it's just a little bit more hygienic. And so, in that moment, as I was out there, I felt, wow, I really made a difference. it just really hit me. Like, wow, this is amazing. And it's something that I want to do. I texted John and Jefferson afterwards, and they said, anytime. We want to go out there and make an impact anytime. So whenever I think of the word matter, I think of our relationships with one another, but I also think of what we're doing for the sake of the world. And actually, before I go, can we give a hand to New Hope? New Hope Foundation? Yeah. They do this every last Friday of the month. They organize every last Friday of the month, and it's just a few people. It's just a few people organizing it, and it was quite incredible to me. There are more people who are not affiliated with the church there than our own church members. That's how much it resonates. It was about maybe 15 to almost 20 people who've never met our church before, right there, wanting to serve community. And to me, this was a huge example of peace starts with me. Peace starts because I know I can make a difference somewhere. And the difference I make can hopefully impact others to make a difference as well. And then the next day, we have Shine City. So every single Saturday, many of you know, there's a Shine City project. This week, they went out to spread the word Nevada to clean books. Every week it's something different. Sometimes it's cleaning the streets. Sometimes it's giving out food. This time was cleaning books. And many people showed up. You have I think about half of them are not affiliated with our church, but they came out to clean books. These are books that are, I believe, donated because they're not being used, they're not being sold, but they clean it up, I think, take out stickers, tags, clean it so that children can have these books to study, children who don't have those books. And I'm sure at the end of it, people felt like they made a difference. Am I right? Yeah, let's give a hand to Shine City. We had Jeffrey and the Celibers working together to make that happen. So every Saturday, we have these seminars, Peace Starts With Me. And that's the theme of it. The theme of it is that peace can start from you alone. Anyone ever seen that video where there's a guy, in the middle of like a hill, and he starts to dance, one guy. And then he's just dancing. Everyone thinks he's kind of weird. And all of a sudden, there's another guy just stands up and starts dancing with him. I wish I could play that video. And then guess what happens? In less than 5 minutes, the whole hill, everybody is just up and dancing. And to me, I saw this video when I was maybe 15 years old, but it just showed very clearly how much change can be affected when one person stands up to make a difference, or in this case, to dance. That's how we are. We mirror each other. So every Saturday, we talk about these peace principles. We inspire people to know that they can make a difference through their very own actions. And also, Tribe Talk, this is on campus. So these are all students who attended this past Thursday's Tribe Talk. All of them came there because they're young and they want to be part of a movement, want to be part of a club that can make a difference. Because they understand and they know that when we change ourselves, we can change the world. And through this, I met, there's a guy in the back named Owen. His head is kind of peeking from the back there. He said he wanted to live a healthier life as we were having discussion. And I said, I want to start exercising. So then we exchanged phone numbers, and now we're accountability partners. So now, yesterday he texted me, he went to the gym, and yesterday I texted him that I started jump roping. That's why I started jump roping, by the way. Because Owen right there is helping me to make a difference in my own life. And I am hoping that I can also help him as well. So this happens, and people are coming. People want to make a difference in the world. So, peace starts with me. And I mention this because on the issue of matter, on the issue of making an impact, this allows me to understand that an investment in myself is an investment for the world. And that's what Father and Mother Moon have been teaching us. And it doesn't have to look in the way of cleaning the streets. It can be in the way of taking care of your health. It can be in the way of loving, maybe making breakfast for your wife. Or maybe making breakfast for all of Cheonshimon, like some of you do. So, I hope that through it all, through the exercise that we did before, we've all had a chance to reflect on our lives. I hope that by the end of our lives, but hopefully by the end of each day, we can all ask ourselves those questions. Right before you go to bed, you can be able to say a resounding yes to, did I live? Did I love? And that I mattered. Thank you.